The following podcast contains adult content, including adult language. I talk openly about sex and other adult topics. If you are under the age of 18 or are uncomfortable listening to sexually explicit narratives, please listen no further. I am not a professional therapist, counselor, or doctor. I'm just an average guy in the swinger lifestyle who likes to share his experiences. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Please seek a professional if you are in need of guidance or care as it relates to sexual health or alternative lifestyles. Hello, my lifestyle friends, and welcome to Evan Swings, the lifestyle podcast from a guy's perspective. I'm Evan, and I indeed swing, along with my awesome wife, Eva. If you are new to the show, thanks for checking it out. I hope you end up enjoying your listening experience with me today. Eva and I are a full swap couple in our very late 40s, and we prefer a friends with benefits dynamic. We are Western Ohio based, and we have been in the lifestyle now for just over 5 years. Please remember that this podcast is mostly commentary. You know, I'll tell you about our lifestyle adventures and opinions, but if you're seeking more of the hot and sexy stories, you'll find them occasionally on here, but honestly not very often. Remember, I am not an expert, definitely not. And if you are a returning listener, thank you. Thank you as always for your support. I don't do this podcast for the money. I make zero. I don't ask for likes, subscribes, or shares. I don't do it for the fame. I'm not trying to become some world famous podcaster. I do it for fun. I enjoy sharing our adventures, and I do it because listening to podcasts has helped me or us navigate our time in the lifestyle, and I kind of see this as a way for me to pay it forward to others. That said, I have to give a shout out to another podcast. If you've never listened to it, it is called 2+2. It is fantastic, and I just discovered it recently. I found that Eva and I can really relate to it, and it is downright fun to listen to. Why am I promoting another podcast? Again, I'm not in this for money or fame. If I come across an awesome lifestyle podcast, and I think it's worth sharing with my listeners, then damn it, I'm going to share it. I highly recommend checking out 2+2. Now, if you're wondering about today's title, I know it kind of sounds like a music band, but I thought it applied pretty well to what I want to discuss today. Eva warned me that I shouldn't discuss what I'm about to discuss. She said it might make me seem shallow. I thought about it, considered not discussing it, or maybe leaving out some details. But then I said, no. I said I would always give my honest commentary on this podcast, so that's what I'm going to do. If it makes me seem shallow, and I hope it doesn't, but if it does, oh well. This is the real me. So I'll get to that part of the story second. But first, I want to touch on the Flakes part of the title. 2 episodes ago, I complained about a couple that had reached out to us. We had set a date, a dinner date, and then they canceled due to a medical emergency. They wanted to reschedule, though. And Eva and I were very happy to do that. We were very interested in this couple. So we gave them some possible dates that would work for us, and they responded with, something like, "We'll let you know. We'll look at our calendars and let you know." Then they literally seemed to avoid the subject for like another 2 weeks. We chatted off and on during that time about stupid crap like the weather. I'm not joking. After 2 days of silence, I would get a message that said something like, "Hope you guys are staying cool today. It's hot out there." And then another day, something like, "Stay safe with all that wind out there." Stuff like that. And I tried to make it a little bit more spicy. I would respond with, I responded to the wind thing with something like, "Well, I was already blown plenty last night by Eva." And the guy laughed, and he actually said he got some action too. So, things like that. And we talked a little bit about being parents and some of the challenges that come with it. Just stupid chit-chat stuff. A few days before Eva and I were headed to Club Princeton in Columbus, Ohio, which was the night we discussed together in our last episode, by the way, when Eva joined me as a co-host. That's the night I'm talking about here. We decided to let them know. They had informed us that they would attend the club on occasion, and thought that might be a fun way to hang out and get to know each other. We told them we might be going earlier in the week, and they said they might be able to go as well. And then once we finalized our decision, like we knew we were going to be going to the club, we thought we'd let them know. So on Friday, I wrote, "Any chance you'll be joining us at Princeton tomorrow evening?" And they responded with, "We are hoping to!" He explained that their daughter had some kind of athletic event that day, and they weren't sure how long it was going to last. Surprise, surprise, they did not show up at the club. No message like, "Hey, sorry, we won't be able to attend. Let's talk next week and find a time to get together." Or no message on Sunday like, "Hey, sorry, we couldn't make it last night. We got too busy. Hope you guys had fun. Let's figure out a new time to meet." Nothing. We got nothing. We reached out again. I said, "Hope you had a nice weekend. Princeton was fun, but not very crowded. Pretty uneventful evening." And they responded, and I will say, they have been good with responses. I will give them that. Like, they've always responded to a message that I've sent. So they responded, "Our weekend was jam-packed and, of course, not long enough. LOL. Now it's crappy outside raining." More comments on the weather. This is the lifestyle. I don't want to talk endlessly about the damn weather. Several days later, Eva and I decided to give them one last chance. We had one more free weekend coming up before our vacation to New England, and we had no plans. So I made one last attempt. I messaged them, "Hey guys, are you still interested in meeting us for dinner sometime? We have Friday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday this weekend. After that, it's kind of hit or miss the rest of the summer. Heading out of town July 3rd to the 10th. Let us know." Sure enough, they quickly responded. "Hey there, we are absolutely hoping to figure out a day this weekend. Was just waiting to see if we can make it work before bothering you guys." That was it. Seemed pretty interested still. So we wrote back, "All good, just let us know." And that was the last we heard from them. That was June 26th. And here we are, moving into mid-July. I just don't get it. We have run into many flakes in our 5 years in the lifestyle. And this one ranks up there as one of the biggest wastes of our time. I said a few episodes ago that lack of good communication was my biggest lifestyle pet peeve. But I think that falls into a broader category, which is wasting my fucking time. Why? Why did you reach out to us? Start chatting on SDC, then suggested a chat on Telegram. Then we shifted over to Telegram. Your wife gets involved. She joins the group chat. And then we chat for weeks, leading us to believe you were serious about meeting, only to waste our time. I just don't understand the mentality behind it. I don't get it. I totally get how some people take the lifestyle more seriously than others. I get that. I totally understand if someone would say, it's not that important to me. I don't want to put a lot of time into dealing with it. I get all that. What I don't get is the rudeness, the unawareness, the obliviousness of wasting someone's time. If it's not that important to you, fine. But respect others' time that may, treat it with a little bit more importance than you. It is infuriating sometimes. It really is. Eva and I have had a slow summer in terms of social interactions. We were really looking forward to meeting a new couple. Obviously, our enthusiasm was not matched in this situation. Look, everyone, okay? Just be a decent human being, okay? If you're not interested, just say that and walk away. If you change your mind about a couple, just say that. Let them know and walk away. And if you are interested, then follow through. Recognize that your actions affect others. Don't waste people's time. If you want to meet a couple and that couple wants to meet you, then make it happen. Don't string someone along and then suddenly stop talking to them. And if you are not serious about making it happen, then don't even bother starting the damn conversation. We are on lifestyle apps and sites to meet lifestyle couples. If you're not there to do the same, then stay off of them and don't reach out to couples if you don't intend on following through. And that is my rant about that. All right. Let me settle down a bit here. Got a bit heated. Okay. Moving on. Now to the other part of my title, Shallow Evan. And as I mentioned earlier, I truly hope this doesn't make me come across as shallow. Fingers crossed. Eva and I have been known to play separately on occasion. Very rarely. To put it in perspective, okay, since last August, we have each played separately a total of 2 times each. So in the last approximately 1 year, we've each had 2 solo dates each. That's it. We were both hoping to have some additional opportunities, but unfortunately they have fallen through for various reasons. Both Eva and I, we are at a disadvantage when trying to find willing partners for solo play. Eva only desires to play with men with whom she has played with before as a couple. There was one exception to that, but there's no need for me to get into that at this point. she has to know the guy really well. Usually, that means she's fucked him before in a full swap situation. She needs that level of comfort. If she didn't have that need, heck, she could have a play date arranged in a matter of minutes practically. I admit, I have to say, I do like the rule because then I don't have to worry about her safety. It is always going to be with someone who I know and trust as well. But anyway, that does put her at a disadvantage for finding new opportunities. As for me, my disadvantage is, number one, I'm a guy, all right? It is much, much easier for a woman to find a willing guy for solo play than it is for a man to find a willing woman for solo play. At least that's my perspective, that from my experience, that's what I've seen. And number two, as I mentioned before, I'm not exactly a prime physical specimen, all right? Now, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think there are many women out there who are hopping on the apps and searching for, looking to play solo. And, they hop on a lifestyle app and think, now, if only I could find a short, bald, not particularly shredded 50-year-old guy with a dick that is average length. I'm sorry, but that's not how I see a typical. I don't see that as to be the typical women's search parameters. In fact, I have seen many profiles that specifically state, please be at least 6 feet tall, or you must have a dick that's at least 7.5 inches. Stuff like that. My point to all this, Eva and I do not play separately very often, nor do we have the opportunity to do so. So when an opportunity came my way, I wanted to explore it as an option. A woman who I will call Tina reached out to me on Field. She was 50 years old, so, about my age, and didn't live too far away from me. She was looking for summer fun, no strings attached. There wasn't much other than that on her profile to go by. Now with Field, this particular app, you get 4 profile photos. And then if you choose to, you could add 4 more private photos that you can open up to whoever you choose. Well, Tina had exactly 4 photos. That was it. And she looked very pretty. Not drop dead gorgeous by any means, but still very attractive. 3 of her pics were close-up selfies of her face. And I'm blanking here because I may be thinking of the wrong app. Field may allow more than that. I can't remember, but Tina had 4 pics. That's what I remember. She only had 4 pics available. Anyway, the 3 of them were of her face. They were selfies, and then the 4th pic was this kind of grainy, blurry distance shot that seemed to be taken a while ago. Not sure, from a distance, looked younger. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just got the impression it was taken a while ago. So it was difficult to get a read on her total physical appearance. And this is where I don't want to come across as shallow, but I may. I couldn't tell if she truly fit what I consider to be an attractive figure. I will admit it. I am attracted mostly to HWP women, height, weight, proportional. They don't have to be ripped. They don't have to be professional athletes. But I do find it sexy when a woman takes care of themselves. When a woman takes care of herself, I should say. I can't help it. I like what I like. It's no different than a woman saying she prefers a clean-shaven man as opposed to one with facial hair. No different than when a man says he prefers women who have long hair rather than short hair. I don't know. And it's no different than when like I said earlier in this episode, a woman says she prefers a guy to be a certain height or have a certain dick size. It's just personal sexual preferences when it comes to appearance. So that is what I'm talking about here. Certain qualities or characteristics do it for me, and some don't. And I think everybody can say the same thing. Height, weight, proportionality is something that is significant to me in terms of what I find attractive in women. So back to my story. It was difficult to get a true picture here. But again, her selfies were very attractive to me. And as we started messaging, I found her to be very engaging and seemingly really fun. But I noticed something right away. Unlike the majority of lifestyle chats that I've had, she seemed unwilling to share any additional photos. Like zero. Not a single one. I sent her several. Just nice pictures. She was very complimentary of the pics I sent. They were of myself and Eva. And I never sent anything explicit, which is a general rule I have personally. I do not send dick pics ever unless they are specifically requested of me. But I sent a bunch, and she would tell me how sexy we were. We would chat for several days. And I found that she was a lot like me. Not good at flirting. I mean, I suck at flirting. I completely admit it. And apparently she did too. As I keep saying, it has been a slow summer for Eva and myself. And usually I would wait until the woman makes a move. Quote unquote makes a move. But with not a whole lot going on lifestyle wise, I decided that I would take the plunge and ask her to meet. I'm a teacher, off for the summer, and I have some free time on my hands. What is it going to hurt to, meet this woman for lunch and see if we hit it off? She immediately accepted and asked if we could do coffee instead. I hate coffee, but I was happy to meet at a coffee shop and order an iced chai latte because I do love those. So we figured out a date, and that was it. We had to wait about a week. And before I go any further, I do want to be clear that Eva was kept abreast of our conversations every step of the way. All right, I don't do anything without her complete approval. In fact, one day we were in the hot tub and I gave her my phone and she just scrolled through our entire conversation. No surprises, no secrets. Eva was 100% supportive and even agreed that Tina seemed to check a lot of the boxes. Seemed like a very attractive woman and seemed like she might be a good match. It was definitely worth a shot meeting her in person. We had plenty of conversation time, and we seemed to be on the same page, all right? Neither of us were looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Just an occasional fun fuck. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. An occasional play date. Tina wasn't married, So there were no issues for her either on her side. And she was well aware that I was in the lifestyle and was doing this with Eva's approval. She said she actually found that very hot. That, I was married and allowed to do this. Not hot enough to send me any additional pictures, though. And by the way, I didn't feel it was my place to ask for additional photos. I suppose I could have, but I felt if she was comfortable, she would send them. I wouldn't need to ask. Maybe she just needed to meet me first and see that I was a safe person, a real person. I don't know. And the thing is, we even chatted about catfishing. Like I told her that it has happened to us before. And she said that she couldn't believe there were people out there who would send pics that were not accurate. She was admittedly newer to the lifestyle scene. The day of the coffee date rolls around, and I get to the shop early. She, picked a place just outside of Dayton, and I wanted to get there well before her because, like I said with one of my previous solo adventures, I wanted to make sure this wasn't a trap. Okay, I've been the victim of an attempted sextortion before. So I got there, I scoped out the entrances and exits, and waited patiently. She had the exact same idea, I guess. Because she texted and said that she just arrived. But I didn't see anyone pull in. Like, I was waiting outside, and I did not see anybody pull in. And I waited a minute or two, waited for somebody to get out of their car, and nobody did. I told her I was waiting by the entrance outside. Figured if she was in the lot, maybe she was, throwing on some extra makeup or something, and then she would come and meet me at that entrance. But nothing. So I asked her where she was. She said she was inside, but I didn't see anyone enter the coffee shop, matching her description. So I looked around the coffee shop, which was large, and I didn't see her. So I stepped outside again, and I was starting to get suspicious at this point. So I texted her again, "Where are you?" She said she was inside and described what she was wearing. I walked in again and didn't see her. So now I'm ready to leave. I'm thinking that I just got played. So I texted her again. "I just got played big time, didn't I?" And she responded, "No." So I said, "Then please come outside and meet me." And I figured no one's going to come outside and meet me. But she did. My suspicions were off. I just didn't see her when I went in. And like I said, she had a similar idea to me. She got there early and was waiting inside. As she walked out, I immediately noticed that her face looked pretty much exactly like her profile pics. Same smile, same hair. So that was good. But she also had a specific unattractive facial feature that I really don't want to describe. It's not important to the story. But she kept that hidden in her pics. I will say this, it was something significant. Even after she told me she couldn't believe there were people out there who were dishonest with the pics they post. But now here's the other thing. She wore something that completely hid her figure. Ladies and gentlemen, it was one of the hottest days of the year. In the 90s here in Ohio. And she decided to wear a black dress, I think it was a black dress, under this long sleeve, full body sweater coat thing, like a sweater coat, a sweater jacket. I don't know what they're called. It was a sweater that acted like a jacket that covered her arms, her boobs, her torso, and was long enough to partially cover her legs too. Like I think it dropped down to her knees. I mean, to this day, okay, I have no idea what size boobs this woman had. And I love boobs. I'm a boob guy. I wanted to know what she was packing. But I honestly could not tell. But what I could tell was that she really didn't fit the HWP type of person that I am normally attracted to. That did not stop us from having a great time. I sat with her and we talked and laughed for almost 2 hours. I told her all about her lifestyle adventures, about which she seemed to be very intrigued. And she told me about her recent dating experiences. And I don't know about you gentlemen out there, but when I meet a woman in the lifestyle, especially, for the first time, I kind of assess whether I'm attracted. I think about whether I wanted to kiss her. I think about whether I want to do more than kiss. I try to picture myself and the woman in a play situation. And for this woman, I just couldn't do it. At least not completely. I mean, she was funny. She was sweet. She had a great personality. She appreciated my sense of humor. But physically, I wasn't feeling a high level of sexual attraction. As I ended up telling Eva later on, it felt like I was talking to a close friend rather than someone whose clothes I wanted to rip off of them. And that right there is an issue, of course. When the date was over, I walked her to her car. I asked if I could give her a hug goodbye. We hugged. She got in and went on her way. I had a lot to think about on the drive home because I really, really enjoyed my time with Tina. Her personality was awesome. She had a great sense of humor, and she seemed very willing to get naked with me. The problem was the physical side of it. I just didn't think I was truly attracted. I stopped at Eva's office on the way home because she was done with clients for the day, so I told her I would stop in and tell her all about it. So I did, and we discussed where I should go from there. She suggested that I send her a sexier pic or two. The thought was, maybe the vibe would change. Since we hadn't had any flirtatious banter, really, while chatting up to that point, maybe that's what was needed to alter the chemistry. Maybe it would change the way I felt. Being honest here, maybe if I sent her a sexier pic or two, she would be inclined to reciprocate. Maybe then I would get a better sense of what she was hiding under all those clothes in the 92-degree weather. Maybe then I would, feel more of a physical attraction. So that evening, I thanked her for meeting with me, and I told her the truth, that I had a very enjoyable time with her. She said the same, but neither of us mentioned a second date. The next day, on 2 occasions, I sent her a sexier pic of myself. Still no dick pics, just me without a shirt on. Both times, I got the same response. A quick comment. So hot. Followed by an emoji. The plan did not work. She did not reciprocate with any photos. I did not feel a change in chemistry. I decided that if I was not 100% in, it was not fair to her or me to continue. And it was not an easy decision. Folks, I admit it, okay? I am almost 50. The chances of finding a young supermodel who is into me, fairly low at this point. I realize the confines of my age and my appearance. I'm a realist here. With that said, I understand that if my standards are too high, I may never have an opportunity to chat with an interested woman again. But at the same time, I can't deny what I'm attracted to and what I'm not. I mean, what if I said fuck it and said, she had a pretty face and an awesome personality, that's enough. Let's schedule a play date. And then she stripped off her clothes and I didn't like what I saw. I mean, how awkward would that be? How crappy would that make me look? And how crappy would that make her feel? I mean, I could easily get through the play date. I know I would. I'd be able to do that. But that's not fair. That doesn't seem like something a good person would do. And I would like to think I'm a good person. And all that, all this I'm talking about here could have been avoided if she had sent me some revealing pics or dressed for a lifestyle date instead of a church event. And now that I think of it, that's a good way to describe it. Okay, she was dressed like she was going to church. I would have known immediately that she was not my type physically, and it would have made this process a lot easier. Or if she had some better pictures on her profile. So unfortunately, it was time to let her know. Not surprisingly, she was so nice about it. So nice. I mean, this woman was really cool. I can't say that enough, okay? I explained that after much thought and discussion with Eva, meeting again just wasn't in the cards for us. I explained that I didn't feel the proper vibe when we were together. And I even said what I mentioned earlier, that it felt like I was talking to a good friend rather than someone I immediately wanted to run off to a hotel with. I thanked her, apologized if she felt I had wasted her time, and wished her the best. Well, she responded very politely, and she even agreed that she didn't feel we vibed well either. That actually made me feel very good. Like I didn't lead this woman on, and she, she wasn't waiting for me to text her and said, "Hey, when are we going to fuck?" So it worked out nicely. No feelings were hurt, no harm was done. This is just something that happens in the lifestyle. And I would imagine in the vanilla dating world too. You may hit it off with someone online, but there may not be any sparks when you meet in person. And that's okay. You're not going to be a perfect match with everyone you meet. Would it have been nice to find someone for a solo date or two this summer? Absolutely. It is disappointing in that regard. But on a positive note, it was honestly fun getting to know someone a bit and taking a swing, even if it did end up being a swing and a miss. Again, Eva advised me not to record an episode about this. She said it would make me seem shallow, and I hope she was wrong. Okay, we all have our personal preferences when it comes to attraction. Different people like different things. Ultimately, I was just not physically attracted to Tina. At least not enough to become intimate with her. She was not unattractive by any means. Just not my type. Simple as that. I do wonder, though, was she being secretive about her body intentionally? Was it something that she was self-conscious about? And if that were the case, I have to say, that is silly. I mean, if your ultimate goal is to have sex with a person, then at some point they're going to see you naked. So why hide your body now? Now, I'm not saying she should have been showering me with explicit pictures, but she gave me literally nothing in addition to her profile pics. Nothing via text message and very little in person, covering herself up the way she did on a hot summer's day. If she wanted to play with me, well, I mean, let's be honest, we'd be seeing each other's naked bodies up close and personal. I would think it would be better to be assured of physical attraction beforehand than get into a room with someone, undress, and be like, no, I gotta go. I have to give her the benefit of the doubt, though. Okay, she was newer to the lifestyle scene and therefore maybe wasn't as outgoing as I am accustomed to. But listen up, everybody. Your body is beautiful. Okay, I can't even see you, and I know it's beautiful. No matter what you got, flaunt it. Like I always say, you may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you are someone's cup of tea. So work what you got and be free. No need to hide it. If someone doesn't find you attractive, oh well, their loss. Move on to the next. And I say all that as a bit of a hypocrite because I don't like showing that I am bald, like especially at a club or event. I prefer to wear a hat, but that's because I strongly believe the majority of women out there prefer a guy with hair to a bald guy. But I guess I could be wrong. But I have gotten better going hatless more and more. Because, if you want this, come and get it. If not, well, I'll hopefully find someone else who will. Your loss. I'm pretty awesome. At least that's the attitude I try to adopt, but doesn't always happen. I do get being self-conscious about yourself, but again, if the ultimate goal is to be naked with someone, they're going to see you eventually. So you might as well let them have a sense of what you look like early. And this way, an awkward situation could potentially be avoided. And with that, it is time for me to wrap up this episode. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. As always, you can contact me if you like. I love to hear from listeners. You can contact me, questions, comments, thoughts, suggestions for future topics. You can reach me in several ways. I'm on Blue Sky. Just search for Evan Swings. Or you can go to swing.com and find my profile, which is Evan Swings Podcast, all one word. You can find me on Instagram by searching for my username, which is Evan Dienson, EvanDeanson. Or you can use old-fashioned email and just send me an email message at evandienson@gmail.com. Email is probably the best way to get a prompt response. I will admit that. I do my best to respond to all listeners who reach out, but please be patient. I am definitely not the best at checking for messages. Until next time, take care, everyone. I'm trying to find a new ending catchphrase here. This is episode 73, and I always kind of end it the same way. But after listening to that 2+2 podcast, they end with a pretty good one. So I'm just going to end with my usual one here, but hopefully in the near future, I'll have a little bit more of a cool one. So be safe, be wild, be adventurous. Get out there, live life to the fullest.